All right, so I'll kind of just continue about like I said in 2013, I went on INTP Central because like I said, I went to Kauai, stayed with my grandpa. I thought my grandpa was a Nazi. I didn't like Christianity. I thought Christianity was white supremacist. And so I wanted to destroy it. And so my basic thesis that I wanted to prevail was that Darwinism runs reality because I wanted to destroy Christianity. I thought that Christianity maintained the white race. So it's like 2013. So then I go on INTP Central and I start trying to undermine and obliterate Christianity. So like some of the things I taught was, but again, I didn't make it clear that I wanted to destroy the white race. I just said that everything is Darwinian and that religions are just built around Darwinism. And the reason why there's different religions is because different ethnic groups want to create different belief systems to solidify their genetic ties and to maintain their genetic lineages. And the only way that we can counteract this is if everybody were to mix. And I tried to use examples like, look at Ireland and England. One's Anglican and one's Catholic. And the only reason why they do that is so they can maintain their genetic ties. So, but if we were to mix everybody, then we would get rid of all the conflict, because really it's just a smokescreen. All of the different belief systems are just smokescreens for solidification of different ethnic groups to maintain genetic ties and genetic lineages. So I was saying if everybody were to mix, that would all fix everything. But really, I just wanted the white people mainly to mix because I wanted to defeat the white people because I saw myself as Jewish. I saw white people as the biggest threat. So one way that I kind of did this was I tried to undermine the whole Bible. So I tried to say, like, okay, Jesus, he converts the Romans. And the Roman commander says, I believe. But I said, listen, I tried to make belief bad. I'm like, listen, the Gentiles always believe in the Bible, but they're always destroyed. And Christianity destroyed the Roman Empire. But the Jews don't believe, but they're always saved. And they're always saved by some sort of sacrifice, like the Jesus sacrifice. The Jews say, put the blood on us. And that was a sacrifice that saved them from their sins. If it weren't for the conversion of the Romans to Christianity, the Jews would have never been saved because Christianity saved the Jews. Because Romans went from wanting to kill all the Jews to converting to a religion that Paul told them, do not kill the Jews, protect the Jews. Give them your material resources. So I was saying, it was all just a Darwinian trick. And I tried to point to the Old Testament and show too, like, I was like, look, David goes to the Philistines and the Philistines love David. David, it turns out, was half Philistine, people say. And that's why he was kind of thrown to the side by his family, because they thought he was a Philistine. Or they thought that his mom probably had sex with a Philistine. But I was saying, David goes to live with the Philistines, and he claims to be against Israel and against the Jews, right? And the Philistines believe him, and the Philistine king says he loves David. And David even makes it seem like he doesn't like the Jews, and he's on the side of the Philistines. But then what does it say that David did every night? David would go out and he would kill Philistines. And I said, the same thing with Jesus. And I wanted to believe that humans are like animals. And animals use deception to defeat their enemies. And there was even this like Polynesian myth about this lion that pretended to be dead. So then all the creatures around the kingdom went to mourn him, and then he killed all the creatures. And I said the same thing with Jesus. He pretended he died. It could have been fake, but he died. And then the Romans converted, and then it destroyed the Romans. Because they say even that, like, and I pointed out, like, Gibbon said that Christianity destroyed the Roman Empire. And I was saying, and look at David. David pretended to be for the Philistines. Like Jesus, I said, pretended to be for the Romans. And as I say, love your enemy, and then you will destroy your enemy. So I was like, the whole love thing was just a Darwinian strategy. Kill them with kindness. So I was like, so look at David. He pretends to be against the Jews, but then every night he goes out and kills Philistines. And then the king didn't believe it because one of the Philistines went up to the king, and you're like, King, David is killing us every night. He comes out and kills us. And the king's like, no way. David loves us. I love David. There's no way he would do that. And I said the same thing with the Christians. They're going to say, oh, no way Jesus destroyed us. No way that this was just a trick to save the Jews and destroy the Romans. We love Jesus. He loved us. But I said, like, Jesus says he came to save his friends, and he didn't go to the Gentiles. I said Jesus only came to save the Jews by converting the Romans to what I wanted to believe Dawkins. I wanted to believe Dawkins, a mind virus, a meme Christianity that would destroy them and save the Jews. So I wanted to completely obliterate Christianity and say it was just Darwinian. And then I pointed out all the examples in the Bible, like, when Samson kills himself in the form of a cross and it kills the Philistines. I'm like, same thing happened with Jesus. Or when Moses puts his arms out in the form of a cross and then it kills the Amalekites. It's like, same thing as Jesus. I was saying it was all Darwinian. So I was saying, basically, we just have to understand everything is Darwinism. So I wanted to destroy the spiritual element. I saw religion and spirituality as white supremacy. And once everybody just race mixes and we create a communist society, or I said a four-caste society, and everyone race mixes, this will dissolve all the nations and dissolve all the conflicts in the world. Because once everybody race mixes, there's going to be no more reason to adopt different religions. Because I said the only reason why people adopt different religions is for Darwinian purposes, to solidify genetic lines. Like the reason why the Shiites are Persian and the Sunnis are Arabs. So that's what I was trying to say. But really, in the back of my mind, I had an agenda: destroy Christianity, destroy religion, to destroy the white race, to defeat the white race, to save the Jews. So, and I'll get to later my grandpa's teachings and how I think that they're more existentially valid than my Darwinian ones. And my Darwinian ones ended up destroying me. And I'll get to this. But, so I wanted to believe that it was just a Darwinian trick because I wanted to undermine and undercut Christianity. So just some other examples of that would be, let me think. So I was basically saying, like, so if you look at like the Old Testament, Elijah helps Gentiles, but then those Gentiles end up helping the Jews. Like at one point, Elijah, they put like food out for the Gentile or Aramean army, and the Arameans are actually related to the Jews genetically. So I want to see, it's all genetic really. So they put it out for the Aramean army, but then, so it helps, he loves his enemy, but then the Arameans later end up helping the Jews. And they end up putting and they say it was a miracle from God, but I was like, no, I wanted to undercut anything that had to do with the spiritual and religious, because I saw it all as white supremacy and maintaining the status quo. I was a Marxist. I thought that religion maintained the status quo, which was white supremacy. So I wanted to say, no, it wasn't God. It was the Arameans ended up putting all the gifts out for the Jews because Elijah helped his enemy. He loved his enemy, and that saved the Jews. By loving your enemy, you destroy your enemy. And even Elijah says, if you love your enemy, it's like putting hot coals on their head. So I wanted to see it all as Darwinian tricks, and Christianity was just a Darwinian trick. And then like there's other examples where like Elijah helped this other lady, and then that lady ended up killing the king that ended up saving the Jews, and this other lady was a Gentile. So I was like, look, and also Jesus helps Gentiles, and then those Gentiles end up helping the Jews by converting to Christianity. And I showed that Jesus cures Legion, who's a Gentile, right? And then the demons go from Legion into the pigs, and the pigs are swallowed by water, and then the water engulfs them just like the Egyptian army. So Jesus crosses the sea, heals Legion, and then Legion, the pigs are destroyed, which represents the destruction of the Roman legions. I had this realization when I was reading up on what legion meant, and someone said it might be the Roman legions. So I was like, okay. So it destroyed the Roman legions. And then I thought, okay, well, the same. So Jesus crosses the sea and destroys Roman legions, kind of like the God of Israel crosses the sea and destroys the Egyptians. So I was like, oh, this is just a metaphor. This is a metaphor of Jesus, because right before this, Jesus heals a Roman commander. So I was like, did he really love his enemy, or did he love them so that they would double cross and join the side of the Jews? And I was like, see, it was all Marxist. What Jesus taught them was Marxism. So they double crossed, they became Marxists, they became communists, and then it saved the Jews. And then so the water destroys the legions, just like the Egyptian army was destroyed. And I said, same thing when Jesus crosses the other river, and then he heals the Canaanite woman, and then he multiplies bread. I said this was a metaphor of when the God of Israel crosses the sea, and then they convert Rahab, who's a prostitute, and then the Canaanite city is destroyed. And I said what the healing of Rahab represents is a communist revolution by the prostitutes, by the lower classes that destroyed the Canaanite society. And I was saying that's what Finkelstein says. Finkelstein says that the Jews really emerged from Canaanite serfs who had Marxist revolutions. But he's a Jew. So he wanted to undermine the Bible too, like I did, and say, oh, it was just Marxist revolutions, just communism. He wanted to uphold communism, and that's what I wanted to do. So I want to be like, oh, see, Jesus didn't really, this was just a metaphor of the destruction of Canaan. By loving his enemy, by healing his enemy, Jesus actually destroyed his enemy and saved the Jews. But really what it was, and I wanted to believe what Jesus really did was he taught communism, and by teaching communism, it destroyed the Gentiles and saved the Jews, who were always the lower class. And by teaching communism, it saved the Jews, who were the lower caste, and then that's how the Jews always defeated their enemies. And I said, so when Elijah multiplies bread, he wasn't really multiplying bread. He just taught everybody to share in that multiplied bread. He taught communism. So it's communism. So I wanted to say the whole Bible is actually just an allegory of communism. So I wanted to undermine and destroy Christianity. So then I made people on INTP Central were amazed. They're like, maybe he's right. Because I really went through the Bible good with this stuff. And like I said, I learned from a Korean cult who was kind of a communistic cult, and they kind of taught me some of the allegories in the Bible, but I was one who made all the big connections. Okay? So I was like, okay, the Bible's just communist. So I wanted to say the Bible's communist, and what would it be best is if we all race mix, because the problem is the genetic differences, and if we just are all communists, and that's really what the Bible teaches is communism. So I wanted to undermine and undercut religion and uphold communism, Marxism, and basically, because in the back of my mind, I wanted to destroy the white race and race mix everybody. So I'll get to, so I wanted to, and I put up all my rap music and my basketball stuff because I wanted to really make black people cool. Black is cool, white is bad. Because really my ultimate goal was to get the black people to overcome the white people, to get the darker races to defeat. And at the time I thought that I was good. At the time I thought that I was on God's side. But now I realize I was satanic, because I later would study in Hinduism, Satan is Shukracharya, and he wants the Dravidians, the darker races, to defeat the Aryans, the lighter races, and the Brahmins, and destroy religion. And that's what I wanted. So I was actually a Satanist, and I didn't even know it. But I thought, no, I'm actually doing what the Bible really teaches. The Bible really is communist. No, Satan is communist. But I didn't know that. But my grandpa would say I just was expressing dualistic software, and because I was expressing dualistic software, I wasn't able to see the truth. I wanted to believe Darwinism because I wanted to undercut Christianity, but I wasn't able to see the truth, and I wanted to. So I'll get to this. Next lectures.